So we now have our Love Island USA finalists. So that means last night we had two couples go home, and they're Scott and Johnny, along with Kyle and Destiny. Destiny was one of the last OG girls aside from Kassy. Destiny was a very polarizing figure amongst fans. You either liked her or you didn't, for the most part. And then there were some in-betweens. I personally, I had mixed feelings because when Destiny came in, I really, really liked her. So I totally understood what Kyle's family was saying, where they were saying, well, we really like Destiny, but I don't like her so much now. I got it, understood it. Did it need to be said like that? Absolutely not. Because it makes you know better than the very person and the messiness of how you said it than the person you're talking about. So did not like that at all. It's a way to go about that, which we've talked about. You could have... I had my reservations, but, it's ways to go about it. However, I did not like some of the moments that we saw from Destiny, but what I will say is just these past couple of days, these past few days, this past week, I really, really liked what Kyle seemed to bring. Kyle seemed to be a place of comfort for her, and just was seeming to be bringing out the softer side of the Destiny of when she first came in that I saw that I really, really liked. And I liked what she seemed to be bringing out of him. Again, we only have a very small sample pool to see from them, but what I saw, I did like. And they brought out a maturity in each other, and they seemed very, very comfortable together. And that's just the thing with this show, is just timing is so important. I so wish that we could have seen the two of them earlier. So maybe if he wasn't a Kassy boy, then maybe we would have seen that be stronger and could have seen how they navigated that. Because it's just like I said, for both of them, when Kyle came in, him with Destiny was like a completely different person than the guy I kind of saw in Kassy. Not that I thought he was an awful person in Kassy, but, I don't think connections were happening like that. And that's why I was even okay with him and Imani, because I think Imani seemed like she was just trying to have a good time and, enjoy the island for what it was. And if she got a connection, maybe fine or whatever. And he seemed the same way. And so I kind of felt like, okay, well, this works. But it felt better, and it felt easy, and it felt very comfortable with him and Destiny. So I'm sorry that we didn't get to see more, but what I will say is I'm glad that we got to see her leave on more of a high note, because there was a lot of conflict at one time, and I know she says she doesn't like to keep up mess, but she did seem to keep finding herself in it. And, I've been there. So in all fairness, I've been there sometimes where I'm not a messy person. I don't like mess. I don't like controversy. But I can go there and I can find myself in it because I am an outspoken and vocal person. So I get it. But I was glad that she got to go on a high note and did not find herself in things. And even her response to, essentially just the rudeness of how Kyle's family, or the insensitiveness of how they presented what they said about Destiny. I thought she handled that very well, and I thought she was mindful about herself, and I thought she was mindful in her response to Kyle. So definitely, sad to see her go, and the fact that it felt like, stuff was just starting to get better, but glad to see her go out on a high note, along with Kyle being the only Kassy boy left. Then Scott and Johnny, I don't even know what to say. I didn't feel a connection. I felt like they were some people who were just in the villa to have fun. They really liked I guess from a physical standpoint, they seemed to both be very physical and to have fun in those regards. But Scott's going to be okay. Johnny's going to be okay. Beautiful looking people. And Scott, see you on the Love Island games in the fall. We will see you. So we totally know you're going to be all right. See you soon. Oh my goodness. So then along from the episode inside, as we talked about kind of from backwards, Kassy and Leo go to the hideaway. I personally, first let me say, I really respect, y'all know I'm not a fan of Carmen and Kenzo I don't feel it. But what I do think is that Kenzo is authentic in how he wants to carry himself. I do believe that. Now, I get it does become difficult because when you come on a show like Love Island, sometimes when you have certain standards that maybe may go against the majority, it can be difficult, and it takes a lot of discipline to be able to stand kind of on what you believe. And I respect that about him. I respect that he wants to carry himself in a certain way and he doesn't let temptation in that. And at first I did think it was kind of just like, okay, this is just for the game. But I do think, while some of it, of course, I do think it's a game. And a lot of that does come more so from Carmen and me feeling like she's a little calculated in how she moves. But I do feel as though Kenzo means what he says as far as his standards of how he, wants to be, the person he wants to be with, how he wants to present himself. Now, again, like I said, coming on a show like Love Island, I mean, I don't know if that's the place because it is kind of difficult and it does continuously put you in situations that can go against your beliefs. But it does still take something to stand on what you believe, and I respect that. And so they got the opportunity to go to the hideaway, and they declined to give it to Leo and Kassy. What I did not like, and I actually, because, they're not on I could see them winning, but they're not on my top list to win. And my opinion could have changed, and I think this would have been the kicker. Now, do I think Leo, I do like Leo, and I don't mind them individually, but I think Leo definitely is running game. I think when he showed what he did with Johnny, I think it was what he was. Like, even like if we all looked at Leo's face as, from the beginning when people would come in, like you could tell he's young and he's dumb and he's trying to find his way and, whatever, like he's going to be who he's going to be. But in all fairness, I know some people make it bad. Kassy's going to be who Kassy's going to be too. When the next young thing comes in or whatever, the bright light, the same way, like, I mean, human nature, especially at a young age, you're going to weigh your options. And if I think this is better, then I think she's going to be on to the next thing smoking, as will he. Okay? We could get into the details. I know it's been talks and ramblings about Leo having a girlfriend prior to, like, right up to him coming into the villa. I don't know. We can never verify for sure, but is he 21? I say that because I got married really, really young. But, it can happen, but I don't know if Leo's that guy. And I also don't, I'm not going to all put it all on Leo. I don't know if Kassy's that girl. But let me tell you what made me mad about this hideaway is because I have heard the producers, everything has been so forced about Leo and Kassy. And especially about this whole idea as a woman, how I have to show and respect myself. And I can't y'all know I've been telling y'all about these speeches that have been getting on my nerves. These past, 2 weeks or whatever. I don't even know if it's been 2 weeks because, time in this space seems so long. But every a day we're hearing he has to prove. Well, girl, did he really prove it in that short amount of time for you to give him your draws? No, ma'am. There is no, after all that speech, what I wanted to see was her, maybe she kissed, maybe she kind of, but you will not touch, taste none of this because, when I'm really going to make you work for it. Because what did Leo really work for? He made you a couple of coffees with hearts on it and put some lipstick on a mirror and that made you sleep with him after sleeping with this girl who because I'm not going to shame nobody, but I'm just saying, not me. No, I wanted to see, if I would have seen her make him wait and still, you can still be intimate and just enjoy that intimate space with each other. I really would have liked that and I would have respected that so much because there's been these speeches about how, he has to prove himself and how, I just can't fully open yourself. Girl, well, you opened it wide, okay? And you opened yourself completely, okay? I wish, okay, y'all know what, because, we got to learn. Y'all know I always talk about life lessons, and KK was dragged for, some of her decisions and people, even though a lot of people love her because dragged in love, people wanted KK to make better decisions. And there are certain people in the past where you want to see them make better decisions because you think they deserve better or, maybe you shouldn't have slept with somebody that fast. Well, the same applies, because if you say that, because giving yourself to somebody is a very, very personal thing, and especially when they've shown you, and I'm just saying of how she seemed to feel, she was very hurt and felt like she was lied to or deceived. Now, granted, y'all know how I feel. I feel like open people can do what open people do. But that's not what she felt. That's not, so when it comes to that, I'm like, it should not be, to me, that easy for him to give anything just because, like I said, lipstick on the mirror with some hearts and a heart and a coffee cup. No, ma'am. You gonna work for it. And I still think they could have had the same possibility to win because they do have a big fan base. So I would have liked to seen that. Hannah and Marco, y'all know, because initially I really was rooting for them because I really, really liked Hannah coming in. So if you look at some of my early videos from this season, I really, really was a Hannah fan. And it's not that I'm not a Hannah fan anymore. Her and Marco just bore me, and I don't feel a connection. I feel like it's really, really forced. I won't say forced. Well, yeah, like not forced because they do seem comfortable around each other. But again, it's no sparks and magic as we've seen in years past, and whether people are going to work out in the real world, in this space, not feeling the magic. But what I will say is the only time I see where I really feel like Hannah, kind of has a spark up of emotion and just shows kind of just like she wants to be there is when she's talking to Bergie, oddly enough. When she's talking to Bergie and kind of mothering and nurturing Bergie, that is the only time where I really feel like she kind of perks up in that. So, I don't know. I just got mixed feelings about that. But in saying that, y'all, me in these notes, I really, really like, for me, Bergie and Taylor's honesty and transparency. Y'all know, for me, I'm Bergie for the win as far as I'm concerned. I really, really respect their honesty. To be able to have that conversation, him and Taylor, and first of all, because it's still a game. Like, above all things, we must remember it's a game. So when we see these BS connections and this and that, people trying to fake it to the end, okay, I respect that they're willing to have the conversation, because even with Grandpa Bergie saying what he said and saying that it felt forced, he wasn't really believing it, that Taylor was all in. Bergie could have said, no, he's, I don't know what he's talking about, like, blah, blah, blah. He could have dropped it, like, I love you and that. No, I really, he has acknowledged that his grandfather means a lot and that, he's thinking about what he said and then also thinking about distance. Now, do I really feel like distance plays a huge part? I don't. I think that it really goes back to what his grandfather said, but I think that Bergie is also... he tries to be mindful and he's very thoughtful and he cares. I don't think he wants to hurt anybody. And I also think that Taylor doesn't want to be hurt either from what she said. And I believe her. And I do, I really like them. And like I said, I went and got some background information to kind of get a better feel of Taylor. And just from putting all that together, seeing her mother, I totally feel like she could be a person for Bergie in the real world. And I respect that they had they were willing to discuss that, knowing that it's going to be on TV, knowing that we're going to see it, and that it's just like to say that I don't know if this is going to work. I know, because that's a very, very honest thing to say, especially in the last hour. And so I am really rooting for them because I love their transparency. I think when we look at these type of shows and who we root for, we do like to see a journey. I think that's why there's been such a focus on Kassy and Leo, because you want to see, like, Carmen and Kenzo kind of just coasted, Marco and Hannah coasting. But when you think about the couples who have won in the past, there's been some kind of something that happened along the journey. Last year we had Zeta and Timmy, and Bria was, kind of the factor. You had Jeff that played her. You had some kind of things that came up. Justine and Caleb, we know the whole situation of the aftermath, but, Justine kind of had been in and she wasn't being paid. We had all these different things. So when we got to the end, it made that story that much more special. We like happy endings. We like good stories. And so for that, that's why I think, if I'm thinking like America, I'm thinking that you would want the storylines of Kassy and Leo or Bergie and Taylor, because you want to see people triumph in the end. So for me, my couple, my triumphant, my happily ever after that I want to see Bergie win. Because he's always kept a good attitude. He's been optimistic, and I love that. I love the transparency of him. I love the transparency of his family. And I love that Taylor was honest enough to even bring that up in discussion on when they talk. So I love that they didn't shy away from it. So you guys let me know who in the comments, who you got going to win it all and why. And make sure that you comment, because I do talk back always. I promise I'll try to contact everybody if you leave a comment. And make sure you like this video, and we will chat with you real soon. Happy weekend, guys, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.